As away, we got Charlie Kirk memorial attack fears as gunman is caught inside stadium just hours before event. So someone was apparently had some weapons on them they shouldn't be having at an event. Especially someone who just lost their life and there was a political assassination. Oh, it seems a little targeted, you know. Anyways. An armed man claiming to be law enforcement has been detained. Oh, claiming to be law enforcement. Uh-oh. Has been detained at the site where Charlie Kirk's memorial is due to take place in Arizona. The suspicious individual was carrying a gun and a knife when he was apprehended at State Farm Stadium in Glendale on Friday, the New York Times reported. The Arizona Department of Public Safety identified the man as Joshua Runkles. Runkless, sorry. 42. He was charged with impersonating a law enforcement officer and carrying a weapon into a prohibited place. Uh-oh, that's gonna look bad. Wow, that's a... Dude, there's been a lot of people trying to imitate or... Let's continue. So, where we left off, the suspect was picked up inside the stadium. Sorry. He was charged with impersonating a law enforcement officer and carrying a weapon into a prohibited place. Correct. Right, you're at these types of events, you're not supposed to be bringing anything. So he's already breaking the rules, right? And he's impersonating law enforcement. The suspect was picked up inside the stadium before any secure perimeter had been established ahead of the service on Sunday. Secret Service spokesperson Anthony Giglio told Fox News Digital. The U.S. Secret Service, in coordination with local law enforcement in Glendale, Arizona, is investigating an individual who was observed exhibiting suspicious behavior at State Farm Stadium. He said Runkless was released around 10 a.m. Arizona, police told the Daily Mail. A source close to the matter said to the New York Times that he was armed with at least one gun and a knife, presented inactive law enforcement credentials. The individual is not a member of authorized law enforcement working the event and is currently in custody. Guglielmi added. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say this person's name. Anyway, it comes as officials are tracking several threats of unknown credibility ahead of the high-profile event on Sunday per ABC News. Here it is. So this is the stadium that they're working on, right? State Farm Stadium. Kirk, 31, shot dead on September 10th in front of crowds of students and supporters at Utah Valley University while on his American Comeback Tour. Not only that, but his kids were there too. The Department of Homeland Security has designated his memorial service as a Level 1 special event, the highest possible rating. It will feature speakers such as President Donald Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance. The service, called Building a Legacy, Remembering Charlie Kirk, is due to begin at 11 a.m. local time, with doors open from 8 a.m. Guests are asking to don their Sunday best, wearing red, white, and blue for the United States. This event is a first-come, first-serve based on stadium capacity, according to events website. All guests will be screened with metal detectors upon entry and patted down as a last resort. Those who do not consent will be denied entry, officials said. Alcohol, weapons, fireworks, drones, bags, and clothing deemed obscene or indecent are all among the long list of prohibited items. The stadium, home to the NFL Arizona Cardinals, has seating for 63,400 people and can expand to over 73,000 for larger events. Yeah, there's more pictures. Salt Lake City to Phoenix. Yeah, that's where they're bringing, I guess, the stuff. Is there diving capacity? Right there. I guess they're gonna be moving people. Doors open. You got a bunch of stuff. Sunday 21st. Oh yeah, tomorrow oh shit, I forgot I kind of have to go to sleep early tonight. Kind of early stream. Early end stream. I got shit to do in the early afternoon. By that time, I'll probably try I might go out and might actually spend the day trying to track down some cards. I might actually go to like, right, fucking like GameStop or something, right? GameStop and then Target to check out if they have any game or cards. Anyway, Trump has said personally requested home Arizona mourners traveling from across the country. As of Friday, the full list of speakers, including Kirk's widow, Erica Kirk, Trump and Vance, White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Department of Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, Donald Trump Jr., Tucker Carlson, White House advisors Stephen Miller and Sergio Gore. Christian singers such as Chris Tomlin, Brandon Lake, Bill Wickham, Kerry Jobe, Carnes and Cody Carnes are also set to perform at the service. Local law enforcement have said their preparations are on a level usually reserved for major sporting events like the Super Bowl. Glendale's police chief said his department is deploying every available resource bolstered by reinforcements from neighboring jurisdictions. Bomb squads and tactical units will also be on standby for the event. Kirk is set to be laid to rest in Phoenix, Arizona. The state is where Kirk lived with his wife, 36, and their 2 children before his death. His casket was flown from Utah to Arizona aboard Air Force 2 on Thursday, accompanied by J.D. Vance, Second Lady Usha Vance, and Kirk's widow, Erica. Charlie Kirk speaks before he is shot. Trump's, you got more pictures. The service is being organized by Turning Point USA, which was co-founded by Kirk when he was a teenager in 2012. His wife, Erica, took on the role of CEO and chair of the board following his passing. A nonprofit which advocates for conservative politics on American campuses invited fans to Charlie Kirk, an American legend and his remarkable life and enduring legacy. Kirk's death has prompted fierce political debate around upholding free speech and threat of political violence to American democracy. Yeah, the democracy they say with, constitutional crisis and how they blame the Republicans for somehow Charlie Kirk's death. Yeah, whatever. The suspected killer, Tyler Robinson, 22, was taken into custody on September 12 and appeared in court for the first time by video link on September 17. Robinson faces 7 charges, including aggravated murder and witness tampering. He did not enter a plea to any of the charges on Wednesday. Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty based on the available evidence and circumstances and nature of the crime, they said in a court filing. Erica Kirk, giving a tearful address after her husband was killed, said, "You have no idea the fire that you have ignited within his wife. The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry. They should all know this. If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you have just unleashed across this entire country and this world." She has vowed to continue Charlie Kirk's mission, announcing that their campus tour will continue through autumn. Well, there you have it. She's going to war, it looks like. There you have it. Let me get a picture real quick. Let us away and continue. We got another thing right here. After getting Kimmel suspended, FCC chair threatens ABC's The View. It's a Ars Technica post. Like I said, I'll leave all the sources in the description so you can check it out. Obviously, this is a Google Doc, so I obviously have to share it. So it should be shareable now, right? Anyone with the link. But anyways, Federal Communications FCC Chair Brendan Carr, appointed by Donald Trump, played a central role in pressuring ABC to suspend Jimmy Kimmel's late night show after Kimmel made controversial comments linking the alleged killer of conservative activist Charlie Kirk to the MAGA movement. Carr publicly criticized Kimmel's remarks as misleading and truly sick, and threatened regulatory actions against ABC and its parent company, Disney, including potential fines and revoking broadcast licenses. Following Carr's threats, ABC announced an indefinite suspension of Jimmy Kimmel Live. Several major ABC affiliate stations, including those owned by Nexstar. Oh yeah, that's the other media company I was thinking about, Nexstar. Though I didn't bring up their statement because I was like, whatever. We read the Sinclair Group one though. Also ceased airing Kimmel's show, citing the controversy. Nexstar has a significant $6.2 billion pending merger requiring FCC approval, adding a layer of political and financial complexity to the situation. Democrats condemned Carr's actions as an abuse of power and political censorship. Motherfuckers, you guys been censoring and politically posturing ever since you had Biden in power, right? Even during Trump's first presidency, you guys were trying to push your fucking luck too. Calling for his resignation and a warning of threats to First Amendment free speech protections, the American Civil Liberties, ACLU, criticized the Trump... shut the fuck up. The ACLU, they're a fucking shell of their former self. They should shut the fuck up. They only come out when it's trying to pressure... Right, when they know they can try and put a pressure on people. Admin's role influencing corporate censorship. Well, I mean, the ACLU is in itself a censoring, fucking corporate tool. Senate leaders and multiple commentators voiced concern over government interference in media content. Emboldened by his success, Carr suggested targeting ABC's daytime show, The View, by questioning whether it qualifies for exemption from the FCC's equal time rule, which would potentially require the show to provide equal airtime to political candidates, posing a new form of regulatory pressure on the network. Honestly, hey, if it puts the pressure on The View to put someone who's an opposing viewpoint of them, and they can just hammer the fuck out of them, hey, I'm fine with that. I mean, you already have, Scott Jennings does it for CNN pretty much, right? I mean, even though he's more like a moderate kind of guy, right? You can tell Scott Jennings is a moderate guy. Anyways, but yeah. Look, if you just, or for that matter, with Fox News, they put that one chick in who embodies the Democrat, politics. Anyways. So I mean, I don't see any problem, right? Some companies are already doing it, so I don't see a problem with that, anyways. President Trump praised the suspension of Kimmel's show and continued calling for punitive actions against networks like ABC and NBC for perceived negative coverage of him. Experts warn that Carr's actions represent a growing strategy within the administration to manipulate media narratives through regulatory means. Well, I mean, with The View in particular, right? They have a lawyer themselves, and they still spout out lies and bullshit. So if they can't even get it right with them having their own lawyers telling them to be like, hey, don't do this, right? And they still fucking break the rules. It's like, no, get this dude. You fucking put pressure on these fucking pieces of shit. Anyways, irregular means without crossing clear legal boundaries, raising ongoing concerns for free speech, media independence, and political influence over broadcast media. Well, I mean, you guys already fucking... Right, you legacy media motherfuckers already put a stranglehold on, right, journalists and news media outlets already. So that's... Right, you already have backing from, right, top shitty officials, do you not? Probably get paid by them, too. They don't fucking spout that bullshit. Anyways. Here's another one. So the ones I'll categorize the ones that have Kirk like that. Anyways. Here we go. This one is Yahoo. House approves resolution honoring Charlie Kirk. On September 19th, 2025, the House Representatives passed a bipartisan resolution honoring conservative activist Charlie Kirk, who was assassinated the prior week while speaking at a college event in Utah. The resolution condemned Kirk's murderer and described him as a courageous American patriot. Jesus Christ, what the fuck? Calling for all Americans to reject political violence. Recommit to respectful debate and uphold core civic values. The resolution introduced by House Speaker Mike Johnson passed by a wide margin, 310 to 58, with nearly 100 Democrats joining Republicans in support. However, it has also revealed deep partisan and ideological division by many Democrats, particularly members of the Congressional Black Caucus and Progressive Caucus, opposed the resolution as usual. I think it's because of the one added text comment that Kirk said about the black community. I mean, he was making it was during a when was that? I think he was answering a it was one of those like light-hearted joke question, right? They were just joking around. Anyways, it wasn't like a real like answer, to be honest. But anyways, they argue Black Caucus opposed the resolution. They argued its language framed Kirk as a model citizen, evaluating his controversial beliefs, and that it acted as a political trap rather than a sincere condemnation of violence. An alternative resolution introduced by Democrats focused solely on condemning political violence without praising Kirk's views, gained over 100 supporters, but was not taken up for a vote. The episode fueled ongoing debate over political violence, partnership, and the legacy of public figures like Kirk, who was both celebrated for civic engagement by supporters and sharply criticized for his position on race, LGBTQ plus rights, and political discourse by his opponents. The Department of Homeland Security designated Kirk's memorial a top security event, and his widow, Erica Kirk, was named CEO of his organization, Turning Point USA. Yes, she is the new leader now. The controversy highlights widening rifts in Congress and American political life. Well, I mean, I hate to say it, but some of our, most of our politicians are out of touch, right? Political life, with both sides insisting on the necessities of rejecting violence while contending over how such tragedies and the people lost to them should be commemorated. But yeah, there you have it. And then here, I believe we got one more Kirk one. Yeah, right here. And what a difference in how Americans reacted to the deaths of Charlie Kirk versus George Floyd. Because, yeah, there is a vast difference. Oh, yeah, there's that Maine school board brawl, too. We gotta read that one. New York Post discusses the stark differences in public and political reactions to the deaths of Charlie Kirk and George Floyd. Oh yeah, there was that. Wasn't there that like BLM like little posse group in New York like going down saying like fuck Charlie Kirk and shit like that? Like, dude, all right, I can do the same thing. I can go down the street and be like fuck George Floyd. He was a piece of shit criminal. It highlights how, following Kirk's assassination, some of the political left attempted to create a narrative accusing conservatives of planning protests and radical political agendas similar to those after Floyd's death. That's not what happened. And honestly, after Floyd's death, you guys caused a lot of fucking havoc, right? Right, you guys burned down Minneapolis, Kenosha County, right? You burned down a lot of fucking places, so fuck out of here. Anyways, however, the article, and then you tried to fucking burn down California too. However, the articles refutes these claims, emphasizing that unlike Floyd's death, which triggered widespread riots, arson, and violence, causing billions in damage and loss of life, Kirk's death did not spur violent protests, but rather peaceful political engagement among his supporters. Yeah, we didn't go off the rails like you fucking guys do with your rioting and looting. All right, remember that? You guys go rioting and looting. Yeah. Breaking down businesses, friendly fire, right? Anyways, the article notes that no significant conservative leaders have called for continued protests in contrast to left-wing figures who encouraged prolonged demonstrations after Floyd's death. Kirk's supporters are reportedly focusing on voter registration and peaceful political participation aimed at the 2026 midterm elections. Additionally, the piece contrasts the personal backgrounds of the two men, portraying Kirk as a law-abiding religious political organizer committed to dialogue with Floyd, had a criminal history and died under contested circumstances during police custody. The article concludes that the post-Kirk response rejects violence, recognizing that such approaches were both morally wrong and politically counterproductive. Unlike the extended unrest after Floyd's death, which was used to push controversial left-wing policy changes, and that they did, right, as they do with all. Whenever they have some fucking some person's death like Floyd, they always try to use it as a political tool to push their narrative. And then obviously people buy into it because it's emotionally blackmailing people, right? That's your propaganda, right? That's your blackmail propaganda right there. And then we have another one. Maine school board brawl breaks out over teacher's Charlie Kirk remarks. The Maine school board meeting became chaotic over. So this is the one. So this is the. This is the Twitch, or not Twitch, I'm sorry. The Twitter post that, I don't know if I showed it on stream. But there was a Twitter post going around where you see this teacher freaking the fuck out at a school board meeting and shit. Anyways, over a teacher's controversial remarks mocking the late conservative activist Charlie Kirk. And I think some people attacked him because he was being, like, unhinged as fuck. Tim Bodner, a conservative social media influencer known as the Truth Slinger, sharply criticized the regional school unit 67 officials for alleged. Oh yeah, this guy. Yeah, Truth Slinger. This guy. School unit 60 official for allegedly allowing what he termed communist propaganda. I mean, I wouldn't say I wouldn't say communist propaganda, but it is propaganda. What they're fucking spouting. and demanded immediate action against the teacher involved. Bodner's confrontation grew heated, culminating in a board member, Andrew Fedaro, knocking Bodner's phone from his hand, prompting a police response. Yeah, don't do that. Once you do that, that's kind of like almost assault, right? The specific comments by the teacher have not been disclosed, but the teacher was placed on leave the prior week amid the backlash. Bodner accused the school district of fostering hostile rhetoric against Kirk, while Finaro defended the board chair and emphasized that political violence in the classroom should lead to termination. Finaro also labeled Bodnar a provocateur whose behavior undermines efforts to address alleged indoctrination in schools. This incident reflects a broader national controversy where teachers have faced investigations, suspensions, or resignations over comments related to Kirk's assassination. The district has stated it does not condone violence and is reviewing the situation to assure school safety. The meeting's breakdown highlights the high tensions around political discourse in education, particularly regarding interpretations of Kirk's legacy and political violence. Correct. Also, the people who are showing off like the basically the edited, cut up versions of Kirk, right? Clipping up his stuff and then him trying to make him say like right fucked up things. No, like he didn't say any of that shit. Anyways. There you have it. There you have it. Like I said, all of the articles, or I will post everything in the description, right? Obviously, these have more articles in them. We'll go over them later. But yeah, there you have it.